Blackberries. Blackberries, blackberries, eating blackberries. Let me text you on a Blackberry. Sorry, we don't eat blackberries anymore. Or text on them for that matter. Now it's just apples. Apple, iPad, iPhone, I, me, I, you, I miss you. Let me text you that I miss you. Sorry, no cellular data, that text didn't go through. Bad connection splits us two, it splits you two, it splits society in two. But that's okay, we'll just change data plans and hope for a better connection with us too. I'm no different than you. I'm hashtag living my best life. It's hashtag lit that I get to be here. Maybe later I'll make this a quick Instagram story about how shook I am. When really all this is a fantastical charade that I mistook for socializing. See, we can't talk to each other. A great abyss forms in which we all reminisce on our social duties as we dismiss the friend sitting right next to us. Where I worried that if a blackout occurred, the world would go dark and the world would go silent. I knew a kid once. His name was Peter. He had bright auburn eyes like the warmth of autumn, and he had a peppermint personality that enticed people. He seemed so happy, so full of light. He smiled with that voluminous smile of his, and the world for just a moment seemed small and close. Peter was far more popular than me, commanding an army of thousands of friends and followers. To me and others from the outside looking in, he had many who adored him. But for Peter, for the inside looking out, he was alone. No one knew Peter was hurting, that his heart was yelling and burning for someone to hear his screams over the deafening yammerings of the world. Because he would just smile with that smile of his, snap a photo, post it to Instagram, and get 500 likes, and it seemed from the outside looking in that he had a host of friends. When really he was just alone, surrounded by ones and zeros in a digital world that wouldn't hear his plea to be heard. We can't simply dismiss that there is a social crisis where me and you are just 6 degrees apart from being connected to the whole world by relation. Yet people are apart feeling more meaningless, more alone, more friendless in the age of friending. These problems are compounded by our technology-driven, Ritalin-ridden society. People who like to talk are shunned, beaten down, and belittled. That's not the social order anymore. What's normal is quiet, devoid of a vibrant energy. Tyrannical teachers prescribe a dose of pure and definite silence because silence is timeless and talking is inconvenient. When I was young, my teacher took away my exercise ball because she said it was distracting. She told me to focus, bring my voice to a level 0. She said that I distracted other students. She asked why I felt the urge to talk. She put me at a desk alone, away from the rest of the class, like a little island stranded in the ocean, not knowing how it got there. My teacher called me stupid. She preferred the quiet student. She sighed at having to help me in class as if it was too much to ask. She says, and I quote, "I've never heard a voice more annoying." I said nothing. Then she said something vile, as grotesque as rotting blackberries in autumn. She said, "You talk too much. You'll never amount to anything." She begged my family, no, implored my family to medicate me. She says, and I quote, "This is the only way for him to succeed." I have ADD, attention deficit disorder. My teacher called me stupid. She preferred the quiet student. I can tell you I'm not stupid. But my teacher made me feel that way. My AP honors curriculum, it's complex. I read at the college level as a freshman, so I'm not stupid. But she made me feel that way. You know what the world needs? A bit of eloquent conversation, the ability to walk up to a stranger or a friend and say, "Hello, my name is Zack, it's nice to meet you," and mean it. To keep them hooked on the tip of your words, ever ensnaring them with a deep infatuation for conversation. Too many young kids station themselves in the cessation of real human interaction. No matter how much counteraction is taken, nothing seems to help. Why is it that chat doesn't mean talk? Why is it that people get their news from the partial stories of Snapchat, where we can't talk about the news because that could offend someone, upend the social order which we negligently amend? Why is it that when I walk into a room with my friends, all I see is screens? All of us pretending that this is what hanging out means. We try to acquiesce in something that isn't acceptable, telling ourselves this is the world we live in. Technology is just a part of our new world order. Some say it's indispensable despite the inconveniences these conveniences are conceiving. But it's deceiving, it's thieving, it's cheating us out of humanity, and it hurts. But we're numb, even dumb to the damage it's doing. Its harm is subtle, never one event, but a string of events. I've always been a people person, for I love to talk to people. Human interaction just seems to be my niche. It's something that my teachers love and hate all on the same day. See, I could talk forever about pretty much anything to pretty much anyone, but I'm different. I'm a social quandary. I sit on the boundary of my society, in the area where people don't do things properly sit. I'm not talking socially, but in the scape of people's minds, I'm an ambiguity, sometimes a little too much to handle. People then cancel me out, build a castle of opinions to strangle me into reticence. To segregate me from others is the boy who couldn't shut up. When that doesn't work, uncork a new medicine bottle, that'll fix the problem. Of course it never does, and we start down the path of medical dependence, trying to pay our penance for the blasphemous behavior of pro-social action. We lack the genuine capability to communicate amongst ourselves, our skills never honed but simply disowned. I met a lady once. Her face was a quiet tone. I met her at a funeral. It was the death of my dear friend Peter. The church service went on, my existence almost being aloof and apportioned from the events around me. The service concluded. It was time for speeches. I'd prepared a eulogy for Peter. The feeling of our relationship were bursting at the seams as I rose to the podium, ready to speak of his legacy and how he loved people. My throat was choking up. I could feel the tears whelming inside of me as I bellowed to the room about how I aspired to be him. I exclaimed my feelings. My cheeks grew hot with emotion as the tears ran down my face. I exclaimed that we must not wallow extendedly. He wouldn't want that. That we should remember him for his deeds and the things he's done. I had never felt so drained of emotion, so moved and empowered. As I finished wiping away my tears, walking off, the lady stopped me. Just tugging on my sleeve, she said, "I've never heard a speech more beautiful." I said, "Thank you." Then she said something pure, as beautiful as fresh blackberries in the spring. She says, "You're gonna be somebody, because you can talk." As she squeezed my hand and walked away, I thought to myself, I know how to talk. I'm gonna be somebody. My irritating trait of talking meant something to someone. It meant something to me. It was my greatest trait, inexplicably tied to my being, and it meant something. And from then on, the real picture came into view. I could never wish it away now. As me and you tiptoe in and through society, we can't let ourselves be consumed by technology. We can't let ourselves let that boy be left alone. We can't let ourselves not acknowledge the friend sitting right next to us. We can't let that teacher call us stupid because we know a little bit of eloquent conversation. Maybe all it will take is a little old lady tugging on the world's sleeve to say, "Hey, you can talk, and you're gonna be somebody." So why don't we dim that screen, raise our heads, and just say hello? You want to share some Blackberries with me? Thank you.